She's not just another loud voice at the mic. She's actually one of the names wrapped up in those lawsuits. Yeah, you heard that right. This woman isn't some casual critic. She's one of the people actively suing the village of Dolton and still hasn't seen a single dime. Now, suddenly, out of nowhere, she's on camera saying, "I don't really know about y'all buying this house. Some of us are still waiting on money." Oh, really? Now it's an issue? Before we unpack this mess, smash that like button, hit subscribe, share this video, and drop your thoughts below, because this one's about to get heated. Here's how it all went down. The village of Dolton held a board meeting, and the whole spotlight was locked on one thing: buying a child at home of the newly appointed pope. And not just any pope, the first American pope in history. This was supposed to be Dolton's comeback headline, a move to put the city on the map. The meeting centered around the vote, the price, and the promise that this one purchase could change the town's future. Everything felt smooth, celebratory, until one speaker snatched the mic, and the whole vibe shifted. But before we get there, let's rewind. A local reporter broke the backstory wide open. 2 developers had already purchased and renovated the Pope's old home before he even rose to global fame. Then, on that same day, roofers from Windy City Construction showed up, out of love, and put on a brand new roof for free, volunteered their time, labor, and materials. Still, the board plans to vote on officially buying it, with the final price hidden until next week. All we know, it'll be higher than the original $199,000 the developers asked for, but way under the $1 million auction dream they once had. Now, don't forget, there's already been legal smoke around this. The village once threatened to seize the property using eminent domain. Like, really? Eminent domain? For this? Why not just mark it as a historic landmark, like every normal city does? That way, the house gets protected, the owners keep it, and everyone wins. But instead, Dolton nearly went full government takeover mode. The developers called it flat out illegal. So now, this new deal looks like a truce. Skip court, lock in a fair price, and let Dolton claim the property officially. Meanwhile, tourists are already pulling up to snap pics. Even during the meeting, people were outside taking photos of the same home where the Pope grew up in the 60s and 70s. And Dolton's long game turned that whole block into a historic district. Then came the moment. A woman approached the mic, and let's just say she wasn't here to celebrate. At first, she tried to sound composed, professional even, but the nerves were loud. She bounced from random community stories to banking, foreclosures, and side questions about how this house could generate revenue. Then suddenly, she swerved into taxpayer talk, sprinkled in some lawsuit shade, and dropped hints about her own frustrations. Her delivery was choppy, her points all over the place, but through that chaos, the truth started slipping out. She kept insisting she was just asking questions, just trying to understand the benefits for homeowners. But come on, we could all read between the lines. The real answer was obvious. Tourism. That's the entire play. People show up to see the Pope's house. They spend money, local businesses thrive, and Dolton finally gets its breath back. That's the business model. It's the same logic that keeps Disney World printing cash. Folks aren't there for logic. They're there for the experience. But she wasn't trying to see the vision. And then, boom, she said it herself. She's one of the people suing the village, still waiting to get paid. And suddenly it all made sense. That's why she's throwing shade. This wasn't civic concern. This was about her check. Straight up conflict of interest energy. It's like if your friend owes you $50, but instead of paying up, they post new Jordans on Instagram. You'd side-eye that post real quick. That's exactly what this was. Mass frustration dressed up as community outrage. She says it's not personal, but baby, it's definitely personal. She acted like she was worried about taxpayers spending, but everyone in that room could see it. She was bitter about not getting paid. Her nerves betrayed her. Her voice cracked. Her sentences tripped over each other, and at one point, she even fumbled saying, "Hi, I'm coming one of them." Like what? You meant, I'm one of the people suing. But your nerves said, not today. That's what happens when you stand up to throw stones while sitting in a glass house. Because at the end of the day, you can't pretend to care about community budgets when your real motive is getting your own payout. That's not accountability. That's self-interest. Meanwhile, the bigger picture? Dolton's leaders are trying to spark life back into their town, restore the block, attract new business, maybe even drop a boutique hotel. The vision is clear. Turn the Pope's legacy into an economic engine. Visitors roll through, cash circulates, and the village finally gets a second wind. They've already bought another house on that same street to expand the project. So no, this isn't about one building. It's about revival, legacy, and momentum. But of course, some folks just can't stand seeing progress. They'd rather let the neighborhood rot, so people like Cassie can keep filming TikToks of cracked sidewalks and boarded-up homes for clout. That's the game. Keep the chaos alive. Keep the spotlight on the mess. And right when things start moving forward, this lady drags her lawsuit into it. Says she tried to settle because her case is about to hit the 33 mark. Claims it took so much strength just to show up. Oh, really? Took effort. Or did you just pull up to stall progress till your $40 comes through? Because that's exactly what it feels like. She's not blocking this deal for justice. She's blocking it for her bag. And let's be honest. If your whole mission is shutting down something that could uplift an entire community just because your check hasn't cleared yet, that says more than any speech you could ever give. She starts tossing out lines like, real lives matter, and we're all human, and the whole room's like, huh? Nobody even mentioned race. Where did that come from? It was pure chaos. Unprepared, unfiltered, and all over the place. This was her big moment to make a point, and instead, she melted down right there at the mic. Then it went completely off the rails. She started accusing the police of being procedurious, whatever that's supposed to mean, then mumbled something about non-due diligence before dropping the wildest claim of the night, that ghosts are collecting paychecks. Ghosts! I wish I was kidding, but that's what came out. It was a full-on word salad, and everyone could feel the second-hand embarrassment. Like, sis, you should have typed this out and rehearsed, because none of it made sense. This wasn't civic engagement. It was a personal venting session in public. Meanwhile, the rest of Dolton is trying to move forward, and she's slamming on the brakes till her lawsuit cashes out. And here's the real kicker. The village already admitted the mess was Tiffany's doing. She had everything upside down, made false promises, and handed out roles people never even agreed to. But now that she's gone, the new team's cleaning house. So for this woman to walk in mid-fix and try to derail progress for her own payout, that's not leadership. That's straight-up entitlement. You could see the nerves eating her alive. Her mouth was moving, but her brain was buffering. At one point, she literally said, "I'm coming for my receipts." Ma'am, no, you don't come for receipts. You bring receipts. That's how proof works. But instead of evidence, she was just flinging buzzwords like darts, legislative this, executive that, and then, out of nowhere, sewers. Yes, sewers. She said she talked to a woman, and now a sewer has moved. Like, did the sewer just pack its things and walk away? Where's it going? To church. At that point, the speech was collapsing faster than a folding chair cookout. If she really wanted to be honest, she should have just said, "Hey, I got a lawsuit. I see y'all spending money. Where's mine?" But nope. What we got was 12 long minutes of ghost perils, runaway sewers, and half-baked complaints. And the audience wasn't laughing because it was funny. They were laughing because it was painful. This is what happens when ego grabs a microphone. The focus shifts from the project to the performance. And suddenly we're all trapped in her delusion. And she didn't stop there. She pivoted into random nonsense, claiming the village needs more money to print flyers, when all folks need to do is move their cars so the street sweeper can work. Then she brought up the fire department needing fans. What? And somehow ended on leash laws. But instead of just saying what she meant, she mumbled, "I don't want to tell people I want to kick their dogs." Like what? Who says that at a board meeting? And her big finale? After 12 minutes of confusion, she closes with, "Come on now." That's it. That's the grand ending. 12 minutes of pure chaos. And her closing line was basically, "I forgot my point." Thank God the trustees didn't take the bait. She walked in with that crab in a bucket energy. If I can't have it, nobody can. That's the same toxic mindset that keeps small towns frozen in time. No growth, no progress, just noise. But Dolton didn't fold. They voted forward, and right after, Mayor Jason House made it official. The board made the right call, not just for politics, but for the people, for the legacy, for the future. And he's absolutely right. This wasn't just smart, it was strategic. The village didn't even drop the full payment up front. They secured financing through Wintrust Bank. Basically like a mortgage. The bank covers a house now, and Dolton pays it off over time. That's long-term vision. And it doesn't stop there. They're already buying another rundown home on the same block to restore, all part of a plan to turn it into a historic district honoring the Pope's roots. That's not spending, that's investing. Because here's the real truth. They know people from around the world will come see that house. That's not just pride, that's economic power. Reporting live from Dolton, Dane Placco confirmed it himself. This was the move. And honestly, thank God. Because if you can't recognize a blessing this big when it's right in your face, you probably belong in that disappearing sewer she was talking about. But not me. I'm not ghost hunting in storm drains. I'm chasing growth. I'm chasing progress. And remember, Mama believes in you. Mama loves you. Peace.